Hi, my name is Ben Kostyuk. I'm the Senior Director of Research Partnerships at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. One of our programs that we're looking forward to highlighting is our IBD Plexus program, which is our database and biorepository that houses clinical and molecular information on about 20,000 patients. Uh, we've built this program to enable precision medicine in the IBD space, and so really excited to showcase it at this conference on precision medicine and IBD.
So if you could just tell us, what are you most looking forward to discussing with other attendees in Boston this March?
Yeah, I think the two things that I'm most looking forward to talking about in Boston is breaking the therapeutic ceiling in IBD. We know there's a whole bunch of drugs available to patients that seem to max out at remission rates between 30 and 40%. And one of the opportunities to break through those rates is precision medicine and is trying to get the right drug to the right patient. The other thing is looking about how we can use AI to bring that there, sort of maybe going beyond the hype that AI has generated and looking at really tangible ways for it to help in inflammatory bowel disease, whether it's shortening clinical trial timelines, discovering new targets, or better understanding disease biology.
Um, how can we understand that disease biology a little bit better?
I think we're at a really interesting position now where I think we have the data sets are available and are becoming large enough. I think IBD Plexus is one example. I think there's other databases as well that can be leveraged. And so we need to make sure that this data is as clean as possible, it's well collected. And then on the other side, we need the sort of the technology and the clinical guidance on how to use the data and which technologies are going to bring that out. I think IBD is such a complex disease with so many phenotypes and endotypes driving the inflammation or the fibrosis, and we need to use the data to better understand the heterogeneity.
And from your perspective, I guess, what makes IBD one of the most complex disease areas for precision medicine right now?
I think that being a chronic disease, IBD is kind of a moving target. The biology changes throughout the disease. When we add therapies, the disease changes over time. The disease changes as different environmental pressures come in. The disease changes as well. So we're not just looking at a singular time point or a linear progression. The disease can take many forms and starting places and then progress in different ways. And I think we lack the understanding of why some patients have a mild disease or a moderate disease over many years, and other patients advance really quickly and need surgery, or other patients go on to develop fibrosis. And so I think just how the disease changes over time, and it makes it very complicated to study.
Mhm. And what has changed most in how companies are approaching ulcerative colitis and Crohn's drug development over the past couple of years?
Yeah, so I think there's been some really exciting developments. I think one is that we're looking sort of beyond inflammation now and starting to look at disease modification. So looking at actually like, can we heal the underlying tissue? And I think that a lot of the focus on mucosal healing and ulcerative colitis has been really exciting, and then the focus on complications in Crohn's disease. So looking at things like fibrosis and fistulizing disease, perianal disease, these are all really exciting developments for patients that these are now being focused on. I think also the types of drugs we're using, we've moved now from where it used to just be almost exclusively biologics to looking at small molecules, the JAK inhibitors and the S1P modulators. And then alongside that, we're now looking at dual targeting, so things like combination therapies or bispecific antibodies to target multiple pathways.
Amazing. And looking ahead, I guess, what developments in data-driven research or precision IBD medicine are you most excited about?
So I think what I'm most excited about is bringing in predictive signatures. So the idea that we can predict whether a patient is going to be a responder or non-responder before they start a drug. I think right now there's a lot of trial and error, and a lot of bowel damage can accumulate while that patient is waiting to find the drug that's best for them. So having the data to be a little bit smarter on which medications we're choosing for patients is probably the development I'm most excited about.
Great. And why do you think forums like the Precision Medicine in IBD Summit are really important right now for the industry?
I think that because of the complexity of IBD, it's going to take people from very diverse backgrounds to make an impact on the disease. And so events like this, where we're bringing together, GI clinicians, data scientists, nonprofits, senior leadership at pharma, I think bringing everyone together so they can help bring their perspective and expertise is really critical. We have some people who know what the goal is, but don't have the tools to solve it. Other people can bring the tools. I've been to this conference before. It's very intimate and it allows, a lot of really fruitful discussion.
And I guess you've already sort of mentioned some of the people that will be in the room and the exciting, I guess, sort of types of people that need to be involved in this. But who really should be in the room to, I guess, move the field forward and why?
I think when we think about precision medicine, having the payers in the room is important. We can find the best biomarkers, but if we can't get the tests covered, if we can't sort of enable access, then it just becomes an interesting science project and is not going to move the needle for patients. Um, Also, having emerging biotechs in the room is really important. People who are going to bring new techniques and new perspectives and sort of shake up the current landscape, I think is really critical.
And how do you envision partnerships between platforms like Plexus and these emerging biotech innovators kind of evolving over the next few years?
I think the biggest thing that a data steward or data provider like IBD Plexus can provide is reducing the time for new companies in the space to getting the data they need. So if a company is new to IBD, whether they're large pharma or smaller biotech, they don't have to wait the 3 to 5 years until they've built up a repertoire of data. They can just sort of plug right into our database and use this technology. So this has the ability, or all the data, and this has the ability to really reduce that time to insight. I think also taking a perspective as IBD Plexus is a program of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, and we're a patient organization. We have the ability to really act as a convener and to bring people together. So some of these data sets that we need to build are extremely expensive, and so crowdsourcing and bringing together funds from everybody so that everyone can benefit is somewhere I'm excited to see this go.
Perfect. Well, I'm really excited for the summit. I'm looking forward to seeing what can come of these new partnerships and pushing precision IBD forward.